Crook, do you have some time to talk? Always, Alpha Bro. I would like to gather everyone in Dawn's respite and together assess the situation in which we find ourselves in. Please be voiced. Damn it. Now let's take stock of the facts, shall we? The crisis at hand began with the sudden appearance of ominous towers in multitude of locations throughout the world. We have since learned that said structures were brought into being by an organization known as the Telophoroi. The Telophoroi's stated purpose is to recreate the final days of eons past, an apocalyptic event that would result in the destruction of all we hold dear. Already have these towers of theirs been the cause of untold suffering. Countless innocents kidnapped and imprisoned, their faith perverted for primal summonings. I shouldn't have drank that soda. And unless we find a way to deal with the corruptive aura surrounding the spires, we can't even get close enough to rescue anyone. Those surely with the blessing of light seem to be able to resist being tempered, at least. But after what happened to Erenval and Fordola, we need to be very, very careful about how we proceed. Yet while these threats close to home, I'm gonna cut that. Cut that, me. Yet while these threats close to home are of paramount concern, we mustn't lose sight of the situation in Garlemald. Holy shit, I said it. As you know, the Telophoroi are under the leadership of Fandaniel and one other delightful fellow, Xenos Galvus, the Karen Prince of our dear friend. To date, he's reclaimed his old body, murdered Emperor Varus, and plunged Garlemald into an even deeper pit of chaos. The capital has probably seen the worst of it. For a good while, I saw the bloodiest fight in the War of Succession. But that has since changed, and in troubling ways. I'm sorry, I'm going to try to slow down my reading. So, please bear with me. During a reconnaissance, the air was not once rent by the barking of cannons or the cries of discord. 'Twas an eerie fog of silence which should blanket the ruined city. The inhabitants appeared to have been tempered, and with nary a word spoken did they labor to transform the palace into a soaring edifice born of nightmares. If they were indeed made thralls, it would be safe to assume that these events too were orchestrated by the Telophoroi. An army of primals is awful enough, but in light of the recent developments, I fear it is only a prelude to an even greater catastrophe. The final days. We need to devise a means to counter this threat, and quickly, before our allies are overwhelmed. We will find a way in Sharlayan, I'm sure of it. Master Fortuna's comments regarding the final days were curious to say the least. The Forum knows more than it is letting on. Kryle? Oh no, Tataru. Sorry to interrupt. We just received word from Mistress Kryle. She says that the arrangements for your visit have been finalized. That's loud. The BGM, at least. You are to head to Linsalamenta and board the next ship bound for Sharlayan. And on arrival, present yourselves as associates of the students of Baldessian, come to assist with the Order's restoration. These arrangements may be settled, but what of your thoughts? They must race at the prospect of returning home after so long. Such a weird BGM choice for this. I am eager to see it, of course. Of course. We should set off at once. Then I'll accompany you to the docks. You need at least one person there to wave and cry and wish you a safe journey. I'm really stuffy. Everyone's here, which is good, because I've already paid for your passage, and the fee's non-refundable. The ship for Sharlayan should be pulling into port soon, so please follow me and have all your luggage close at hand. I've always loved the On Windy Meadows, or whatever it's called.
They've almost finished loading our cargo. We should be ready to depart right on schedule, or so I'm told.
Good, good.
Excellent. 'Tis nice to have a smooth beginning to one's journey, at the very least.
It's funny.
Is it?
Master Louis Soir came here on a ship very much like this one. And now, years later, the street urchin he befriended that day is bound for his mentor's homeland. With his mentor's grandchildren, no less.
Aye. 'Tis upon reflection that every twist of time's river and fate's whims are brought into sharp relief.
What he said.
Thou hast matured much in the intervening years. Wert thou not caught attempting to relieve Master Louis Soir of his purse scant moments after he made landfall upon this dock?
Oh, really? Now that's a tale I'd like to hear.
Poor Thancred.
Will this be your first visit to Sharlayan, Sir Estinian? Sir Estinian?
Are we strangers newly met? Why this stiff formality?
I, merely meant it as a professional courtesy, since we are now colleagues in an official sense.
I'd rather you dispense with the sirs, especially in private company. Or I'll be forced to respond in kind, little Lord Alphino.
Oh, snap.
You've made your point, Estinian. Painfully well.
Better.
God, I love these characters. You okay, Tataru?
Are you alright, Tataru? You seem positively distraught.
Yeah, what he said.
Distraught? Me? Don't be silly. I think it's lovely that they get to see their homeland.
Oh.
It's just, we're trying to thwart the schemes of an army hellbent on destroying the world.
Right.
And, once again, I have to stay behind and worry that this is the last time I'll get to see my friends.
That is kind of sad, actually. Like, I give Tataru shit sometimes, but that is actually kind of sad. Or, very sad. I'll bring him back home safe and sound. I promise.
I'll hold you to that.
Do it. Actually, don't. I get the feeling some people are gonna die.
Here.
Oh, Hoary Boulder. What's up?
Hori! Coulternay! What brings you all this way?
We're to assist the Maelstrom and the Kobolds with a lunar primal operation, so we thought we'd see you off before heading to the tower.
Uh-oh, they're heading to the tower too.
Flamine and the others wish you all a safe journey, and promise that they'll look after things here until you return.
Wait, has Hoary Boulder ever had voice dialogue before? Is this the first time we're hearing that? I want to say yes, but I don't remember well enough.
We will too, of course. Aye. We, your fellow Scions of the Seventh Dawn, will do our part to ensure the end
Excuse
of the
me.
world won't happen on our watch.
We're set to sail! All aboard for Sharlayan!
Hell yeah!
It's time.
It is.
Then we must delay no longer. We will contact you the moment we learn aught of value. Wish us luck.
You could just, you know, contact her to check in. She just said she was worried about your lives after all. You could just be like, "Hey, Tataru, we're just checking in. How you doing? Everybody's alive."
Have a safe journey, and please, please, be careful.
Never. Well, we got up on that ship quick. Oh, I missed it.
And so you venture forth unto the unknown. A fate beyond the horizon that cannot be divined. A future undefined and in flux. In uncertain times, naught but the simplest words of wisdom will suffice. That which lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end. Treasure every moment, every step of your descent.
Oh, all this dialogue would be a lot more spaced out throughout the game. What's down here? Or is that just a transition?
And there, in the depths where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
Well, that's basically all the frickin' dialogue that we had in the trailer from Emmett. Minus, like, a couple of lines. Oh, Sharlayan. Don't like that. Don't like Answers playing right now.
Here.
Feel?
Feel.
Think?
Think.
The day has barely dawned, my fellow earlier riser. Though we're hardly alone in that. Envious of those still sleeping soundly, no doubt. Called out to you, you say? I've heard nothing myself.
I remember 1.0 in Leviathan with
In
Leviathan
any
and them
case,
sleeping on the
I
boat.
dare say the sea air will do you good. Why not join the others on deck? Sharlayan should be coming into view at any moment.
Any moment, you say? I'll do that. I get why they're playing this, but why does it have to be this version? Only bad things happen with this version of Answer. Then again, only bad things happen when Answers plays, period, so... I guess that's not exactly the best phrasing to say. Well, hello, lady of the lake or whatever. You're gonna give me Excalibur? Or should I say, Vana?
My voice yet reaches you. I am glad.
I was trying to sleep.
Hear, feel, think. And thus do we meet face to face at last. My warrior of light, guided by the crystal.
This is a new version of Answers, I think. I can trust your word. Shit. First time I get to choose dialogue and I'm already stumped. I really want to say this. We're going to. I can trust your words no longer.
You have visited the first. You have every right to say that. You have gained an understanding of what I truly am, what Hydaelyn has always been, a primal.
Indeed.
Zodiac was created to forestall the apocalypse which threatened the ancient world, and I was brought forth to bind him. Yet 7 times now, those who would orchestrate a return to that bygone era have rejoined a shard to the god I had sundered. The greater his strength grows, the swifter does mine own diminish. The power to draw your mind into the rift betwixt is no longer mine to wield.
Oh shit.
Yet though it taxes me sorely, I dare not leave these words unsaid. Even bereft of my guidance, you and your companions have accepted the burden of this star's troubled past. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine.
That doesn't sound good.
Wheels shudder and turn. Conflict looms. Monumental. Which will decide the fate of this world and all life upon it.
I see your mask.
When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
I don't like that.
folks. Sharlayan's just over yonder.
Don't you dare deny.
I will not keep you further. Your traveler's heart must yearn to behold this unfamiliar land.
Don't you dare deign where my peepers peep.
We shall meet again.
Person.
And soon.
Bye, Heidelin. My peepers shall peep where they will. And not anywhere else. You have a good sleep.
Oh, what a fine morning. Oh, still a bit stiff though.
And a good morning to you too. Taking a look at the island already?
Not yet.
Then let's go. Let's go. Might still be room in the prow if we're lucky.
It's like taking your children on vacation. I mean, I did take those kids in, so I suppose it's kind of true.
Ah, the sleepers have arisen.
I hear the battle music. I thought.
There she is. Good old Sharlayan.
No, just the guitar riff. Dun, dun.
Oh, I see it.
Home. Home at last. Well, maybe not in Father's eyes. But we'll manage on our own, if we must.
You do know you're not alone in this, don't you? Indeed. 'Tis as Sir Estinian saith. Forget not the comrades who boarded this ship at your side, I prithee.
Yeah. We're a family.
Thank you, my friends. We are ever grateful for your steadfast support.
Upon arrival, we will be disembarking into the heart of Sharlayan proper.
Yup.
There is no greater concentration of wisdom in all the world.
In
I
my
am
head.
confident that somewhere within that center of knowledge and learning, we will find the answers we seek.
The moon! Ooh. Kinda wish it was night for that, but it'll do. Oh wait, no, it wouldn't have been night. I couldn't have. That's a kind of a timed, like, thing. That kind of does how it does.
Sharlayan, the solitary island nation of the northern seas. Where under the watchful gaze of Thaliak, patron deity of scholars, academics hoard all manner of knowledge and secrets.
Okay there, Emma, calm down.
Once, they deigned to accept foreign students into a distant colony maintained in the Dravanian hinterlands.
And then it fucked up.
How swiftly they abandoned it once the first Garlean boot set hostile foot on Alamegan soil. So averse to the prosecution of war, these men of wisdom, your would-be allies.
The Northern Empty, Old Sharlayan.
I thought they'd never let us off the ship. What's next then? Entry applications?
Hopefully they find no cause to deny us.
Hasn't Sharlayan all but severed relations with foreign powers? Those of us without direct ties, myself included, may be refused outright.
Yeah.
'Tis true that, as a nation, Sharlayan only forms trade agreements with a select few neutral countries. But from a practical standpoint, an island cannot afford to be overly strict with its borders. Especially not if that island's people are wholly devoted to the accumulation of knowledge. If one submits the proper paperwork, with satisfactory evidence of identity and intent, then foreigners may be granted entry.
Sorry. Something just went off on my phone. Okay.
May.
Yeah, I mean, it's not certain.
Quite. So let us be absolutely clear on these points before we proceed.
That if all doesn't go right, we break in anyway.
The immigration officer will ask for your affiliation and your purpose of visit. Considering Sharlayan's views on intervention, I strongly suggest we avoid any mention of the Scions.
Yeah.
Thrall has laid the groundwork for us to act as associates of the students of Baldessian, and our ostensible reason for being here is to aid in their order's restoration.
Time to blow my cover.
Grahatir, it might expedite our progress should an actual student be seen at the head of our little group. Would you mind leading the way?
Of course. The immigration officers were this way, as I recall. Shall we?
We shall. Glad we're not all doing the super slow walk.
Greetings. We've just arrived and are eager to make our way into the city. Would you be so kind as to process our entry applications?
Certainly. I see by your mark you are an Archon.
Indeed he is.
I am. Grahatir of the Students of Baldessian at your service. I was assigned to an Eorzean survey team, but have returned to assist with the reformation of my order. My associates here will provide additional support.
Very good. I have paperwork detailing your group and its scheduled arrival for today. And it seems some few of your companions are also Archons. If you'll step forward, we can process those applications first.
Ishtola rule.
Urianje Uberdanger. Dang cred, dad cred.
See how it glows? That list is etherically linked with a citizen registry kept in the main repository.
Uh-oh.
I've confirmed your status as Archons and amended your travel records accordingly. Welcome home. Now, who do we have here?
They no longer bear the name of Lavior, so don't say that. Don't say Lavior.
Alphino Leveilleur.
And Alize Leveilleur.
It's not gonna like that, because their last name would have been scrubbed from the frickin'...
Your applications have also been approved. Having said that, the streets are abuzz with talk of how House Leveilleur's lord disowned his young progeny. And while such personal circumstances constitute no reason to deny you entry, I urge you to avoid exacerbating your present situation. Times are quite troubled enough already.
We shall keep that in mind.
These last two are not Sharlayan natives, but you will find their credentials are in order. An application was made in advance.
Name and occupation?
It's true, I'm an or I was an Omnicrafter. It's the truth.
Indeed. Your profile describes you as an adventurer, but one also trained in the rather more constructive pursuits of procurement and production. You may enter. And you, sir?
Estinian Valino, formerly of the Order of the Knights Dragoon in Ishgard.
Formally, at least. And what, pray tell, is your profession now?
I thought it was me that was gonna have trouble, but it's Stinian.
If you'll allow me...
Hey, Kryl. Yeah, catch your breath, girl.
My associate is a mercenary, hired for his strength at arms. Surely you are aware of the dangers we often face on our forays into the wilderness.
Mistress Baldessian, if you insist on sponsoring his entry, then so be it. But while I appreciate that desperate times call for desperate measures, I find your choice of company concerning. Be advised that even a single misstep may have severe repercussions for your organization.
I have every confidence in my chosen company, dear and trusted comrades that they are. But I thank you for your concern.
Uh-huh.
Kryl! It is good to see you.
Likewise. Long voyage notwithstanding, you will seem none the worse for wear. There is much to discuss, but this is hardly the place. Let's be on our way, shall we?
Heck yeah!
Oh! Welcome, friends, to Sharlayan.
As your mercenary, I should hope my welcome includes a generous salary.
Well, I had to say something, Sir Taciturn.
And into Boo Gobbos! I love Gobby speak. Okay. Allow me to extend into my warmest welcome, Crook. May the wisdom of the homeland aid us in our endeavors. Is it bad the first thing I thought is, I want to ride that? You are doubtless eager to take in the sights. Not to worry, Crook. This city is not like to vanish before we finish our discussion. You say that. This is the end of days we're dealing with here. It could very well vanish before we finish our discussion. Here we are at last, the great city of Sharlayan. You may have noticed some similarities with the Crystarium, yes? In fact, Oh, but we should really let Kryl have her say first. We can continue this conversation at another time. I am unaccustomed to fabricating lies on demand. Why should it matter how I earn my living? Speaking the truth, Justinian. I feel ya. I'm no good at lying on the spot either. Surely there is a Alphino and an Alize somewhere, right? Or am I just missing them? Oh, there's an Alpha. I'm fine, honestly. Better to have waved through with a stern warning than be denied entry after all. No. Yes, he's fine. Alize. That was about as awkward as suspected. Still, we're here now, and that's all that matters. I think that's everybody. I think. I'm glad I spotted your ship coming into port. The officers are born bureaucrats and sticklers for detail. In any case, you may relax and take in. In any case, you may relax and take a moment to get your land legs back. Another? Oh, no, that's the same one. I had thought to launch directly into an explanation of what I've learned and how we might proceed. But this is Kruk and Justinian's first time in Sharlayan, and for the rest of you, a homecoming that was long overdue. You must have places you wish to visit and people you're dying to see. Therefore, I propose we postpone our agenda so that you may have sufficient time to recover from your journey and get your bearings in the city. Once you settle in, we can reconvene at the Baldessian Annex. At Baldessian Annex. How does that sound? 'Tis a fine suggestion. We may not be welcome at the Levier estate as such, but I should like to nose around the neighborhood all the same. I am equally untethered, as it were. There is no peculiar place that my kin call home. Still, I would not pass up the opportunity to reacquaint myself with the city. Likewise, a quick tour of our old haunts might yield some useful gossip. Might even yield some useful gossip. The annex was west of the Aetherite Plaza, wasn't it? I shall join you there anon. Yes, we'll see you there. What's wrong, Uber Danger? I too have places I would be remiss to not visiting forthwith. By thy leave. I'm guessing it has something to do with Mumria? And then there were 4. What of you, Justinian? My services as a guide are yours for the asking. That won't be necessary. Until we reconvene, I prefer to wander as the wind takes me. But I could... Oh. Well, Raha, would you like to join us then? You've been gone for quite a while, and this would be the perfect time to refresh those dusty old memories of yours. Huh, of course. If you'll have me. Come, Kruk, Sharlayan awaits. Oh, don't mean to stand on you, but... No, shit! Oh, nifty! This is that whole thing they were talking about. All set, then let us be on our way. Our first stop, amusingly enough, would be the last stand. It's cafe on the west side of the harbor. Kryl is now accompanying you. Lead the two companions to the last stand and speak with Kryl at the designated location. While you are accompanied, you may encounter conversation points along the way, which offer additional topics of discussion. Enter the glowing area and speak with your quest companions to initiate the bonus conversations. Enjoy exploring your surroundings together. And if I am to remember correctly, you can G-pose with them. So, obviously I'm gonna do a wee bit of G-posing here and there. You know, gotta capture these moments, right? Yeah, that's good enough. I'm grateful to have Kryl's help in reacquainting myself with this place. It's almost as if I was seeing it all with new eyes, as for you. Come on, let's head to the cafe. It might not seem so at a glance, but the last stand is actually a very important part of the city. Yeah, yada yada, how do fountains work, etc., etc. Now that is a sight one can hardly forget about, the great statue of Thaliak. As a student of Valdesian, I was usually quartered on the Isle of Vel, but I would gaze upon the scholar's white figure every time I returned by ship to the city. This path leading out towards the sea is known as the Thaliak Stoa? So named for the statue of the scholar, which stands at its end. As you know, the Sharlayan people praise the accumulation of wisdom above all else. Thus, when Thaliak was chosen as a patron deity, it was more a matter of pragmatism than belief, an alignment of principles, as it were. We may have honored him with our impressive sculpture, yes, but our faith is not so restrictive as that, say, of Ishgardians. Individual Sharlayans can and do worship other divines of their choosing. Cool. And here we are, the last stand. I may have mentioned this before, but although our research into nutrition and food preparation is quite extensive, the average Sharlayan tends to regard seasoning and flavor with a certain indifference. How can I put this? The food is, it's bland. And encapsulated by our infamous Archon loaf. The prevailing sentiment towards cuisine is dietary value first, and taste a distant second. There is one pupil at the studium, however, who could stomach the school's inspired meals no more, so he quit his lessons and poured all of his savings into building a proper eatery. And so the last stand came to be. It is, as the name implies, the sole dedicated outpost to fine dining in Sharlayan, the one and only bastion of the culinary arts in an isle of otherwise mediocre fare. I seem to recall their budget being hailed as one of the more impressive items, or the burger being hailed as one of the more impressive items in the menu. Not that I've ever had the pleasure of eating one myself. Because you were a typical Sharlayan when it came to cheap and convenient raha. But surely Tatara has taught you how to appreciate a well-prepared dish. We should stop in when time permits, and sample the cafe's delights. Shall we press on? The stairs to the side of the cafe there will take us up to the Aetheryte Plaza. Liking Sharlayan so far. And at least right now I'm gonna walk, just because it gives me time to collect my thoughts. Rest my voice. And even if I'm not resting my voice, I can talk to you guys about other stuff. Kinda wish Estinian was here with us, but I get it. This Baldestian woman will never leave him alone, so he's got to get breaks where he can. really like how the city is so nice. I knew I was gonna like Sharlayan, but actually being here, even though I haven't seen that much of it, is a treat, for sure. It's definitely better being here in person than seeing it on a video. The Aetherite looks different from how I remember it. An unusual shape, isn't it? I assure you, however, that it's perfectly I assure you, however, that it's a perfectly functioning Aetherite. Remember to attune yourself before we move on. Now, while being the diligent tour guide that I am, I should make mention of the Confluence, a research facility located on this very plaza. Its much vaunted discoveries are the reason Sharlayan stands at the forefront of teleportation technology. In deciphering the underlying principles of Allagan Aetherites, it allowed us to understand and reconstruct what is essentially a lost art. And off we go to our next destination. Our path leads northeast to Agora, Sharlayan's largest marketplace. Speaking of Aetherites, those teleportation fees do add up after a while, which is why I tend to rely on far cheaper ferry services. While pleasantly surprised when Mr. Satara informed me that the Sirens are reimbursed for teleportation costs as part of our duties, but I do find old habits hard to break. That, and I'd rather not be bothered filling out the necessary paperwork. Hey, it's a Rayo! That's the entrance to the Confluence. I have no doubt their expertise will prove useful at some point, so I suggest you always remember where they are. You mind if you browse the shelves for a moment? There might be some hidden gems I've yet to read. Only a moment? How optimistic. Feel free to browse all you like, but we won't wait around for you. Perhaps I'll return here later then. These little open-air book stalls are so uniquely Sharlayan. I always thought them a common sight until I visited other nations. So fucking pretty! Pardon my French, but... Anything worth cracking my coin purse for today, I wonder? Welcome to the Agora, where we find wares made in Sharlayan as well as wide selection of imported goods. They also used to sell questionable prototypes from various research institutes, but I think that practice has thankfully died out, for the most part. Otherwise, I can think of no better place to stock up for your next big adventure. Am I overselling it? On a more serious note, the next stop on our tour is one of particular relevance to our ultimate purpose here. We must head back to the Aetherite Plaza, follow the path north, then climb the stairs up to that imposing building at the very top. Okay, so we're doubling back. Water features. Oh, literally, we are just going to talk about fountains now. These little decorative features are typical Sharlayan architecture. Aside from the research wing, our headquarters on the Isle of Val were rather simple and rustic by comparison. This is the Nephirium, an area dedicated to the blessings of water. I say that as I say that in all question-like tones. For Sharlayans, water represents more than life-sustaining liquid. It is a reminder of the great flood which precipitated the birth of our nation, as well as the symbol of knowledge of which Thaliak's divine ewer. This is the reason you see an abundance of fountains throughout the city, and a propensity for utilizing water is a decorative feature in our architecture. Yeah, because that Rogadin dude built the Ark to save people, and then Sharlayan, and then stuff. What an invigorating breeze. A touch biting, perhaps, but pleasant nonetheless. And I love the cold wind biting. This grand structure before you is the Rostra. The name refers to the original public forum erected here, upon which a... The name refers to the public platform erected here, upon which a forum of elected representatives would deliver orations and debate policy. Though the stage has since evolved into council chambers, the nature of the forum and the duties of its members remain largely unchanged. Am I boring you, Raha? You seem awfully distracted. Yeah, he's just staring at my beautiful pumpkin face. My apologies. From here, one can see the entire city spread out below. The vista put me in mind of my arrival in the first. Those who had gathered at the Crystal Tower asked me how they might go about building a new home. Naturally, my answers were all inspired by my knowledge of the finest settling. Naturally, my answers were all inspired by my knowledge of the finest settlement I could think of, the great city of Sharlayan. And bit by bit, those few buildings grew into a town, a community, a Crystarium. I can almost see its echo. I see. Feel free to come up here whenever you wish. I don't think the counselors would object to you simply enjoying the view. Such memories should be treasured. For now, however, the tour must go on. Our spectacle of sightseeing concludes with the fittingly named Journey's End. Walk down the stairs into the east and continue straight ahead. This neighborhood is home to the highest echelons of Sharlayan society. I never did feel comfortable enough to wander through these streets on a whim. So, the Levier estate is here, got it. We have arrived at Journey's End. History tells us that this is where those who put ashore with Archon Rogadin guy built their first homes. In the present day, it serves as a residential district for the most important officials and the oldest Sharlayan families. You'll see that one mansion is clearly larger than its neighbors. That estate belongs to our friends of House Levier. All things considered, we should probably keep our distance for the time being. And with that, our little Sharlayan tour is... That brings our little shower. There's gonna be so much, like, just editing, because I'm not leaving all of these fumbles in. I'll leave some of them in, but not all of them. And with that, we bring our little Sharlayan tour to a close. I hope it has proven to be an entertaining and enlightening experience. Now, shall we head directly to the Baldesion Annex? You remember the way, don't you, Raha? Let me think. We head down towards the harbor, cross the bridge to our right, then follow the path to the Aetheryte Plaza? Correct. After you, Crook. Oh, I'm glad I took the detour. Discuss journeys. Right. We cross the bridge here, and as I recall, stick to the path, and be careful not to end up back at the Aetheryte Plaza. Sharlayan is full of educational and research institutions, but there are still professors who prefer to establish their own private practices. Not that I ever attended the exclusive schools they run in these residences. Perhaps the twins could tell you more about them. This is it, the Baldesion Annex. As the joyous look on Araha's face has undoubtedly informed you, this is the Baldesion Annex. If you continue up the hill, you'll arrive at the doorstep of the phenomenon. But I think we've explored enough for today. We can take you there another time. Inside with you, then. I don't want to walk with the other right. Please be voice acted. These videos make me... These videos have me talking more than I talk in, like, a month. I'm back, and I've brought Kruk and Raha with me. Ah, you were right about the ship, then. Hello, Graha. It's nice to see you again. And it's a pleasure to finally meet you, Kruk. I've heard many a tale of your exploits. Ojika Tsunjaka, it's been an age. Allow me to introduce Ojaka, of course. Ejika, cousin of Ejika Tsunjaka, and administration officer of the students of Baldessian. He oversees the day-to-day business of the annex. Okay, so he's Sharlayan Tataru. Got it. I read the reports on Eureka expedition. Ejika's passing grieved me beyond words. Thank you for standing by him until the end. Ah, a little bit of Eureka lore since I did that. Cool. This place is like a second home for the students. The Isle of Val served as our main headquarters, of course, but we often had occasion to visit Sharlayan. Whether to make use of the city's research facilities, attend conferences, or procure supplies from distant shores. And the annex here was built to provide lodgings for our members while we engaged in such activities. Now that our former headquarters is on the wrong side of the world, among other things, the annex has become our new base of operations, for all interests and pursuits. And yet it feels so empty. So many lost to us, and our organization is a shell of its former self. The day will come when we will see the students rise again. But first, we must ensure that the Telepharoi fall. I fail. At life and words. But first, we must ensure that the Telepharoi fall. Through that door on the left is the main hall, where we can discuss our options moving forward. And people arrive. Oh. Once everyone arrives, that is. You probably have time to rest before our discussions begin in earnest. I had private quarters prepared for you in the Aderon, so please feel free to make yourselves at home. The nap room's perfect for an afternoon doze. You would, Catboy. Oh, I didn't mean to give you the wrong impression. The chambers are quite well appointed. Far more so than some cheap roadside inn, you may be assured. 'Twas simply that we often were so busy with research or exhausted from journeys abroad that we would slip into the Aderon just to steal a few winks. And thus they become known as to the students as nap rooms, even if such naps might last well into the following morning. Say the word and I'll be happy to show you to your chamber. Hopefully the others won't be too long in coming. I'll wait for you all in the main hall. Hello, Raha. Do you have papers pasted on the walls of your room? It was not unusual for occupants to pin up notes or documents and such, then forget to take them when they went on their merry way. Sometimes it was quite deliberate, though. You'll see the complaints addressed to other members, or thank you cards for the engrossing literature someone left behind. Beloved traditions that I should know better than to dwell upon, if we were to create a future for the students of Baldessian and so many others, we must look to the days ahead. Oh, hi there, Cloud of Darkness. I'm a peace out real quick. I just want to go get this. I love this little wilderness area. The studium. Cool. That's all of them. Ah. Oh, I have to finish this quest. But of course. How silly of me. Alrighty, this is the... Hey! Garuda! Oi! 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 I bet that's gonna be important. Eorzea? The continents? I want some of this art for frickin' houses. Because it's Az's Law. And then this is gonna be a place that we're going to, I think. Then there's the cube. I like in cubes. Mogamog. Doma and that's neat. Okay, Corral, what do you got? Feeling refreshed and alert? Our callers should be wandering in soon, so I suggest we stay here and wait for them to join us. Yep, they here. Oh, no. Last to arrive is already out.
Forgive me.
Shit!
I was delayed.
Pray forgive him, he was delayed. It's okay, I accidentally muted you. Hopefully it didn't mute you guys, but it might have.
It's fine, Urianger. We're all here now.
Let's get down to business then, shall we?
Yes.
Come what may, we must prevent the Telophoroi's plans from coming to fruition. At present, I see two paths for gathering the information which may aid us in achieving that goal.
Okay.
The first involves an investigation into the change which has come over Sharlayan, not to mention the recent inscrutable behavior of the Forum. As most of you know, the 99 members of the Forum are elected from the general populace. This alone guarantees a plethora of opinion with regards to foreign policy. The bibliotheques, for example, are a group of conservatives which would have Sharlayan focus on recording history, while remaining entirely uninvolved in the making of it. And at the other extreme, we have advocates for proactive diplomacy and direct intervention. My grandfather Galef was one such member, as was Archon Louisois. Yet despite our diverse factions and philosophies, the recent vote to deny Eorzea's request for assistance was unanimous. Even more concerning was the fact that many cited other, more pressing duties as justification for their recalcitrance.
Recalcitrance. That's a word I don't know. That's a big word.
Fortuno's refusal in Gridania had those same undertones. 'Twas as if, having stared unblinking into the face of impending doom, he had simply turned away to pursue something more important. But what could that possibly be?
A mystery indeed, and one which I ask for your help to solve. Our future may depend on it.
I'm on the case.
As for our second potential path, it concerns a request made directly to the students of Baldessian.
Uh-oh.
Our organization was founded primarily to study strange and unexplained phenomena the world over. Mysterious relics and ruins, arcane disturbances, and so forth. Compared to our more isolationist Sharlayan colleagues, we have strong connections overseas, namely with scholars and academics who share our passion for the unknown.
How's that,
The
huh?
request in question comes from one such acquaintance, Nadana, an alchemist residing in distant Thavnair. Her missive describes the sudden appearance of a tower, and the subsequent summoning of what I can only assume is a lunar primal. In response to this threat, the satrap of Radzat-Han, the individual who governs the city-state, has instructed the alchemists to find a means to deal with the spire.
Not
The
that easy.
artisans of that land are heirs to an ancient tradition, one rather unlike that of their Uldan counterparts. 'Tis possible, nay, probable, that they have gleaned truths unattainable by Eorzea or her Far Eastern allies.
They do, in fact, appear to have a strategy in mind, though it will require further research. To that end, they have requested an introduction to a capable warrior shielded by the blessing of light.
That's me.
Assuming we divide our forces to pursue both of Kral's lines of inquiry, and having you join the group heading to Thavnair would seem the obvious choice.
That's not the only choice, because I'm the only one with the Blessing of Light. Unless we just flat out deny the request.
But the investigation in Sharlayan is of vital importance as well. Equal, I think, to the Thavnarian one, given that the fate of the world may hinge on the results of both.
Yes, it is quite the quandary.
Now we split our forces. The academics
Though
stay
it is
here.
a great imposition and an altogether too common one, our efforts would be more likely to succeed were you to lead the charge on both fronts. You are indeed our champion. As to which task to tackle first, we will defer to your decision. Let us next decide how everyone else might best be assigned. As for myself, I shall continue what I've begun in Sharlayan. I should also like to steal the services of an Archon or two.
And thereby gain access to a greater range of reading material. I will help with that.
And Urianger.
Allow me to offer my assistance. I have some small amount of experience in the field of research.
Alize and I would also like to help, if you would have us.
Anything to understand even a fraction of what our father and the Forum might be thinking.
Yeah.
Of course, the more the merrier.
Right. The rest of us will make the journey to Thavnair.
Which is only 3 of us.
Objections?
Oh, Urianger as well.
I passed through Thavnair on my way to infiltrate the Empire, and though I'm not qualified to give a guided tour, I did gain a sense of where things lie.
I'll be happy to have you along then. So for this group, it will be you, me, and Urianger.
Give me a moment afterwards, and I'll supply you with all the details of Nadana's request. Consider this hall our rendezvous point once our respective tasks are complete. May our investigations prove fruitful.
You want to go to Thavnir. So I'm going to probably do that one. Alright, I think this is where I'm going to leave it for today. We've got a choice between Thavnir and books in Sharlayan. And let's be honest, I'm definitely leaning more towards Thavnir. So yeah, that'll be next time, unless I find the content of this video too short, in which case I'll add bits of Thavnir onto that. But in case this is the outro, this is the Hexed Man, and I am out. Later.